zone.
Well, good morning, everybody. It is the morning after with Nick and Big J. Welcome to Wednesday, 13th day of November, 2024. My name is Nick. Across from me is Big J.
Yeah.
Movie watcher, leaf raker, life liver, Big J. Ready to go on a Wednesday morning. He watched a movie last night. He is going to give you a full breakdown and review of it before we hit the 7 o'clock hour this morning. Apocalypse Z. What was the subtitle?
The beginning of the end.
Beginning of the end.
The beginning of the end.
And so it's a very popular movie currently on Prime. Big J will let you know if it's worth that popularity a little bit later on this hour. Also, we have your last chance tickets, at least on this very show, for you to go check out Rise Against this very evening at the Revolution Concert House and Event Center. Very excited for that show. LS Dunes is going to be opening up. Should be a whole lot of fun. If you want to check that out in person, we certainly encourage you to do so. There are a few tickets available, but why buy them, Big J, when you can win them for free?
Yeah, absolutely.
And we'll give you a couple of chances to do that. Come 7:40 this morning, another chance to qualify for our holiday treasure. $10,000 is what we're going to be giving away next month. We sure would like you to win your share of it. In order to do that, you need to be qualified, and we're going to give you a chance to do that with the Carol Quiz at around 7:40 or so. So you're going to want to tune in for that as well. We got important stuff on the docket. We're Going to Hell on the docket.
Yeah.
Headlines are all coming up. So already it's a busy Wednesday show. Did I forget anything, BJ?
No, I think that covers most of it.
Would you like to add anything to the list of activities today?
No.
Great.
No, thank you.
Then check it off the list, and let's play some music to get started. How about Big J's favorite band in the entire world?
Yeah!
Metallica, kicking things off here on the morning after
Need
with Nick and Big J on the X.
Stuff
Launch newsfeed.
on the morning after with Nick and Big J.
Big J, the Idaho Food Bank holding a Nampa food distribution event at the Fort Idaho Center today.
Oh.
The event will take place from 11 o'clock in the morning until 2:30 p.m. or until food runs out. They'll be distributing it for free today. There are no requirements to be eligible to receive food, according to the food bank's website. Now, in January, they held a similar distribution event, also at the Fort Idaho Center. The idea is, of course, as the holidays hit us, some of those families that are combating food insecurity or have a little bit of money problems around this time could find it difficult to get the food that they need in order to help their families get through the holiday season. According to the Idaho Food Bank, they have helped 220,000 Idahoans since 2022. 1 in 9 Idahoans experience food insecurity. And so it's a very important thing that they do. If you're not able to make it to the food distribution event today, the Idaho Food Bank says you can check out their food locator on their website to find when other food around the year is available for you. The map indicates different times of the day each pantry is open that you can pop by and get some help from the Idaho Food Bank, who continue to do amazing things around the Treasure Valley to help out a lot of families and especially kids here in the Treasure Valley that maybe don't know where their next meal is coming from. So props to them, and nice little event today. If you want to take advantage for you and your family, you certainly can. Again, 11 to 2:30 today out at the Fort Idaho Center is where you could find that stuff. How about that?
That's awesome.
Good job, Idaho Food Bank. Not surprising, Big J, our friend Ashton Jenty has been nominated as a semifinalist for the Maxwell Award. You know what the Maxwell Award is, right?
No, I don't.
Oh, it is.
Enlighten us all.
It is presented to the College Football Player of the Year. It's different from the
Oh.
Heisman Award. It is a tradition that's been going on for 88 years. Michael Penix Jr. won the award last year. He, of course, was a Washington quarterback, went on to get drafted in the first round by the Atlanta Falcons, so we'll see where it goes. He's the only player from the Mountain West in the round of 16 semifinalists, but the other names are the Heisman candidates that Jenty is up against. You know, the Cam Wards of the world from Miami, the Travis Hunters of the world, the everybody else that you can see him get compared to every single week that Jenty takes the field. But, of course, we will see how it all plays out. December 12th is when they will announce that official award, right around the time ESPN holds the whole award ceremony that they traditionally do at the end of the college football year. So I am sure they're very excited for that. On top of that, we also have an opportunity for My Chemical Romance to go nationwide, Big J. It is a pretty big deal that they are doing. They were kind of teasing some sort of announcement, and that announcement ended up being a gigantic 10-date trek that will be in football stadiums across the country that will see them play their 2006 album, The Black Parade, in full each night and then every single tour date has a different big name opener in every city. So they start the tour on July 11th in Seattle. Violent Femmes are opening up that show. Then San Francisco, Oracle Park with 100 Gex. Then L.A. with the Wallows at Dodger Stadium. Then Arlington, Texas with Garbage. Then East Rutherford, New Jersey for Death Cab for Cutie. Alice Cooper will be opening up in Philadelphia the next week. Pixies opening up in Canada and Toronto on the 22nd of August. In Chicago, Devo opening up. Idols in Boston. And then Evanescence opening up at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa to close out the tour. Tickets are going to start to go on sale on Friday. They did do it last month. They played the album in its full at the When We Were Young festival in Las Vegas. And, of course, those tickets sold out in like a matter of seconds. They expect this to do very, very well, especially with some of the big name openers. I'm sure they're right, Big J.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty huge, man. Stadiums.
Yeah, and we're getting close to almost the 20th anniversary of the Black Parade. It'll be 19 years next year. But still, My Chemical Romance is kind of, I guess, leaning into the fact that people are really, really enjoying this reunion. And a reminder, Big J, you can see just a little bit of My Chemical Romance tonight at the Rev Center when Frank and the crew is going to be part of LS Dunes, and they're going to be opening up for Rise Against this evening at the Rev Center. So you can ask them all about it if you like. Morning After with Nick and Big J. There's your important stuff. It is the X Rocks.
Here's
That is Nothing More along with David Draymond. That song is called Angel Song here on the Morning After with Nick and Big J. Big J, you love doing things like watching movies and television shows. And sometimes I imagine when you're traveling, you watch things on the road. Agree or disagree?
Yeah.
Or do you usually stick to reading in some capacity?
Yeah, usually that's when I'm going to read. It's the only time I really read.
But it's hard sometimes, especially if you're taking like a long distance kind of trip and then there's that big screen in front of you and you're like, well, there's a bunch of movies and TV shows. I might as well partake in something, right?
Sure, yeah.
But if you do, have you ever watched something in a public place where something inappropriate came on? Like you were watching something and then you're like, boy, I don't know if this is the right television show I should be watching. Like a sexually explicit scene pops up while you're on a plane or something to that nature?
I mean, I can't recall a specific situation, so I'm going to say no.
Good for you. Apparently, it happens more than people think because, a lot of times if you're not watching what is already edited for airline kind of travel, like the stuff that's on the screen in front of you, there's a possibility you've downloaded something or you're checking out a show or a movie that maybe has some scenes in it that you're not, totally comfortable with watching in public.
Yeah, maybe not be like watching Basic Instinct.
Yeah, Game of Thrones, probably not a good idea to be watching on an airplane. I remember this happened with me once. I had no idea. I guess I knew kind of the theme of Ray Donovan on Showtime. Do you remember that TV show?
Yeah.
That ran for a bunch of years with Liam Shriver. And apparently there was also some sexually explicit things involved that I was not familiar with. And I would just watch like the first episode and then like in episode 2, something involving
frontal male nudity?
No, not male nudity, but a bunch of nudity. Like he had to like go on to a porn set or something and figure something out. And I was like, whoa, this is not what I thought this was. I should probably not be watching this on the plane.
Little Jimmy sitting next to you.
Any way, shape, or form. Yeah, I did do like am I like ruining somebody's life right now? And then I changed what I was watching.
Have I stolen a kid's innocence? No. I am the bush in the woods hiding the porn.
Yeah, so I ended up changing whatever I was watching, and I was like, I'll save this for when I'm not in a public place on an airplane. And if it has happened to you, apparently it's such a thing that etiquette experts have come out and let you know that you should watch whatever you want, according to etiquette experts, but you do need to be mindful and kind to those around you. If there are kids around, or something that it would be inappropriate in a particular place, maybe skip the scene. They're not saying you have to stop watching the show, but fast forward past the sex scene would probably be a good idea. But if you are offended by the person sitting next to you, what they're watching and is in your eye shot, then apparently it's free game to politely ask them to watch something else. Now, let me put you in that scenario, Big J. Somebody taps you on the shoulder and says, hey, bro, maybe you shouldn't be watching Basic Instinct on a plane on your phone. Would you mind, changing it around so my kid doesn't have to watch you watch Sharon Stone? What would you say?
I don't know. I'm not a jackass. I wouldn't be doing that to begin with. So I'll just play along and be like, mind your own damn business, and then start a fight in the plane, and then have to get that thing turned around.
I feel like that's how some of those conversations, like, I mean,
Yeah.
if you are consciously watching that on an airplane, you already don't give a rat's ass about what
you
people
don't
think.
give a damn.
And that's a different problem altogether. But if somebody were to go, hey, bro, I've got a 3-year-old here. He doesn't need to see, Sharon Stone killing somebody with an ice pick. That'll probably end with who's
Keep
the
your
bleep
kids'
you?
eyes off of my stuff.
I'm not your kid's parent. Don't you worry about it. And yes, you're right. It probably would end up in haymakers being thrown and the plane making an emergency landing. And so
It's a free country, all right?
The good news is I haven't experienced that either. I think, like I said, the most inappropriate thing that I saw on an airplane once that was not meant for my eyes was not the trip I took to Wisconsin, the last airplane I was on. The woman that was like sitting, like I was in an aisle seat, and the woman that was sitting like right in front of me, kind of in the aisle seat also, that you could clearly tell what they were doing.
Yeah.
She was texting somebody, and she was older, and so the text message was gigantic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it was huge to where the point where, like, you cannot help but see the words that are being texting, and she was very clearly sexting whoever was picking her up
Oh my
at
God.
the airport, and talking about the things that they were going to do to each other. And I was like, I mean, you couldn't help but look because it was right there, and the text was so large. And I was like, oh man, I am in a place I am not comfortable being. I do not like this at all. But that's as close as I have gotten to seeing something that inappropriate happening on somebody else's device. But I tell you what, it was something that certainly captured my attention, whether I liked it or not. So it is something that can be picked up on if you aren't aware of it. So just, be aware of your surroundings, I guess, and make sure you know where you are and what's going on, and try to make it as appropriate as possible. Was the movie Apocalypse Z appropriate for all viewers? We're going to find out, courtesy of Big J's review. That's next on the X Rocks.
Here's
Hey, we just talked about My Chemical Romance. That is Welcome to the Black Parade here on the Morning After with Nick and Big J. Yesterday, gosh, right around this time, you guys selected a movie for Big J to watch and hopefully enjoy. It was called Apocalypse Z, The Beginning of the End, and it's available on Amazon Prime. And now we find out, what was it about, Big J, and it wasn't any good.
Yeah, it's about zombies, Nick.
Yeah.
When you get down to it, Apocalypse Z, The Beginning is the End. This is a Spanish film, and so it's dubbed over.
Okay.
So you don't have to hit the subtitles if you don't want to. It stars a guy named Jose Yazbek. We were just talking about this. He was the villain in Madam Web, which I haven't seen. So, but basically, his character, he's a lawyer, and the movie starts out, it's normal times for the most part. There's a hint of something going on. A lot of Spanish radio going on in the background of this, and news reports and things like that. It's always important in these kind of movies, right?
Yes.
And so him and his girlfriend are involved in a terrible accident, and she passes away. And then that fast forward to about a year later, and him trying to recover from that. And the next thing you know, again, like most, I mean, it's totally got a different feel now after we've had a pandemic. Mm-hmm. And what we've seen happens in just that realm of society, and how things actually unfold when society starts to slow down a little bit. So we have a better idea of what that feels and looks like now that we've been through it. So it takes on a whole nother thriller kind of role in the movie like this, because it starts to remind you of just how it was and how it could go from being it's just a disease that is in your lungs, and it turns into zombies. The one thing that interests me in this is that at no time do any of the officials or anybody want to call them zombies, but it's clear that that's what this is.
They are reanimating themselves and coming back from the dead?
I don't know about coming back from the dead, but it's definitely a bloodborne disease, and people are biting each other. And it's, we're talking like 28 days kind of zombie. They're running around fast and furious, and so
I Am Legend Will Smith style.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I did get some vibes from that, and there was some of that going on. But it's basically him trying to figure out what to do, and he decides he's got his sister who is in another part of the world. This takes place in the Canary Islands area, and so he's decided to kind of hunker down and stay where he's at, and he avoids all the orders to evacuate because his sister is like some kind of official kind of. She's like, just stay put, and he does, and everybody leaves, and he stays there for a good period of time, and him and his cat that he takes care of. And so then he decides it's time to get out of here. It's been too long, and he wants to get out. And so that's when you see the world and what's happening, and it's basically character building from there. And it's slow moving. It's not, but again, to me, the thing that interested me in this movie was that just familiarity with what we had been through with the pandemic, and thinking about, okay, what if it really was this zombie kind of outbreak and how things go. So it's a little bit of Walking Dead-ish, but without some of all that drama and interpersonal things. And you do come to realize that the scary thing isn't necessarily just the zombies out there, but the other people.
Yeah.
And what their intentions are, and if you can trust anybody. And so that's what you get with this movie. And so I actually enjoyed it.
You did? Okay.
Yeah. I didn't
I
think
thought maybe it might be too realistic for you.
Yeah, no, I mean, I still, when you get down to it, zombies. So I'm not too concerned about that just yet. But we'll wait till the next 4 years. So, yeah, I think if you want to check out something and it's a little less fast-paced than World War Z kind of thing, then this might be the movie for you.
Is it? I know it's based on a series of books. Does it set up for the further adventures of?
Yeah, clearly there's a cliffhanger at the end. But, it's one of those cliffhangers like, you know what, that could be it. And that's okay. But, yeah, there's definitely room for another movie there for sure.
And I'm guessing because you did approve, or you haven't officially, but you did like it, that everything works out okay with the cat because you're very concerned about things.
Oh, God,
like
yeah.
Okay.
I would have ended things early on this thing. So, yeah,
Good.
that's okay.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
Cat's meowing.
Sounds like if something has the Big J seal of approval.
Approved, man. I didn't think I would. I was like, I did not want to see a zombie movie.
Right.
But there wasn't a whole lot of zombie stuff happening. It was more the mental part of it.
It was kind of world building almost to see. Maybe zombie stuff happens.
Unbuilding.
Down there. It is the beginning of the end. Now we're getting into the end. We'll see what happens. So, Big J says if you want kind of like a thriller movie, you should check it out. It is called Apocalypse Z. Apocalypse Z. The beginning of the end. It has been the #1 movie on Prime for a couple of weeks, and Big J says it's worth it. So check it out if you'd like. Morning After with Nick and Big J. There's your movie review. 4 in a row, Big J, of the approval. You were upset yesterday.
I didn't approve Night with the Devil. Right?
That's the last one you did. That was a month and a week ago. Yeah.
Oh, time is flying.
I know. Morning After with Nick and Big J. Coming up in a few minutes, some important stuff as well as your We're Going to Hell story. It's the X Rock.
She a legend.
Important stuff.
What's going on in the news today?
The Morning After with Nick and Big J.
Turns out the 7th time is a charm for My Little Pony, Big J.
Uh-oh.
Finally, after 7 tries, the iconic toy will be officially entered into the National Toy Hall of Fame. The Hasbro mini horses were first introduced in the 1980s and, of course, have been around for decades, spawning several television shows, several kind of different versions of themselves, and they're still popular to this day and probably spearhead a lot of children's fascination with horses, if we're being honest, Big J.
Sure.
And so they are officially getting into the National Toy Hall of Fame. They've been a finalist 7 times before, but it's done. Also getting in, Big J, Transformers action figures and the Phase 10 card game. Have you ever played that?
No.
It's a lot of fun, actually. But you and I already had this discussion whether or not a card game was quote-unquote a toy, and we didn't know if it was. Pokemon cards, balloons, and choose-your-old adventure books were also contenders, but ultimately did not make this year's cut. Again, we can argue whether or not those are toys as well. I don't think books are toys. I'm not sure. I mean, it says on the balloon packaging this is not a toy. And then Pokemon cards, again, the spin-offs like the stuffed animals that you buy and the those kind of things, toys.
Toys.
Are the cards themselves toys? I don't know.
You can play with them and trade them.
I guess.
Would you have considered, baseball cards a toy?
No, I don't think I do. I feel like that's
because I think
collectible.
that's in the same. Okay, then let's decide that. Like the Morning After is deciding that cards are collectibles.
Yes.
Whether it's Pokemon or Magic the Gathering, any of
agree.
that stuff.
I don't think those things are a toy. And quite frankly, if you called Magic the Gathering a toy, people that played it would probably be insulted.
But then at the same time, like Garbage Pail Kids, all those are collectibles now and not necessarily toys.
Right. But there are plenty of toys that are still worth money that are also collectibles. I just feel like you have to be able to... I don't know. It's a good argument to have. What makes something a toy?
Yeah,
if anything that can be played with is a toy, then is my pen a toy? I don't know. I mess around with my pen.
What's on the Mount Rushmore of your toys? Let's
for me,
take it up.
It's Voltron is number 1 with a bullet. Number 2 is Transformers. Number 3 is G.I. Joe. And then number 4 for me would probably be something that's a little bit more out there, like that I enjoyed, like He-Man or something like that would probably make the list for me of the 4 things. Or like the wrestlers that I would play with when I was a kid. I had the huge wrestling ring. I was into that as well. But if I were doing a Mount Rushmore, I think He-Man gets the nod over the wrestlers because it stands the test of time. You?
Yeah. I'll go G.I. Joe. Star Wars.
Fair.
Figures. And then that was about it for me when it came to toys.
Well, listen, then that's not much of a Mount Rushmore when you put that
I was
out as a template.
I was making a sports hot take joke.
Okay. Usually it involves 4 things, but listen, if you want to
I
put
don't
2
have
up there,
2 other.
I know that's a problem. I'm worried about your childhood, buddy.
Me too.
Hey, if you happen to see Syracuse head coach Fran Brown after a loss, make sure you don't hug him. That is because Brown believes he doesn't deserve to shower after his team loses.
Yeah,
He says,
He's right.
When we lose, I ain't even getting a shower till the next morning. I'm mad. I don't brush my teeth, but I don't deserve soap. I don't deserve to do all that, he said.
You don't.
He also says that he can't sleep in his bed after a loss because his wife doesn't deserve that smell. Like the stink that he has from a loss is his punishment for losing.
Took it way too far now. I was down with it for a minute.
You're okay with not showering, but you have to also sleep next to your wife when you stink out loud like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
That way she'll put the pressure on you to get it figured out.
I see. So you'll be getting it from all sides.
Yeah.
That sounds fun. Big J, I am sorry. Once again, another year has passed where you did not win People Magazine's Sexiest Man Alive.
Yeah, ridiculous, right?
I apologize. I know you were in consideration, but it went to John Krasinski this time around. Of course, one of the stars of The Office, also just announced he's going to be in a new Jack Ryan movie based on the Amazon Prime series that he has been in. Of course, that's what this really is. We've talked about this. The People Magazine's Sexiest Man Alive always happens to coincide with a fairly large project that somebody is trying to promote, and it's not a coincidence. In this case, it's the Jack Ryan movie that John Krasinski wants to talk about. Of course, he is good behind the scenes as well. He is the person that co-wrote, directed, and co-starred in A Quiet Place and that whole franchise that has broke out.
Huge.
He has been married to Emily Blunt for the last 14 years. He's got 2 daughters. They all live in Brooklyn. And so, sorry, ladies, the Sexiest Man Alive is not single. I apologize. But I can see how John Krasinski's handsome, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I wonder what took so long.
That always befuddles me.
Yeah, I mean, he's, in his 40s?
He's 45.
Yeah.
45. Yeah, I don't know what it is that goes, okay, how come, the Sexiest Man Alive last year didn't die? Wouldn't he by default then still be the Sexiest Man Alive? Mm-hmm. Is that a title that gets passed on?
It only lasts 8-9 months.
Yeah,
really.
Until they need to put out the next issue. That's exactly right. But again, it's just a promotional tool. And listen, congratulations to John Krasinski. Very handsome man, and I'm sure lots of people think he is very much the sexiest man alive. Morning After with Nick and Big J. My vote, of course, will always go to Big J, but we have ourselves a little bit of We're Going to Hell action. That's next on the X Rocks.
Here's traffic.
Oh, man, we're going to hell.
Oh, you know they're both going to hell, right?
The Morning After with Nick and Big J on 100.3 The X Rocks.
You learn something new every day, Big J. As we go over to the UK for today's We're Going to Hell story.
All right.
Not bad. And we are headed that way because we are going to tell you the story of 50-year-old Lauren Spencer. And she has had a rough couple of years with sleeping and other things because...
Does she do mornings?
2000, yeah, 1:30 in the morning, something wakes her up in her house. She can't figure out what the hell it is. And she is 50 years old, and in 2021, she got diagnosed with a interesting, rare sleep disorder that also kind of carries over into her sex life, Big J. She says that every night when she falls asleep, there is some sort of medical condition that causes her to initiate sex with her husband. And it happens every single night. And her husband, Charlie, isn't upset about it. Here's where the problem is.
Yeah, she's not getting any sleep.
She's not getting any sleep is part one. Part two is, like, they've had to actually come up with a way to keep her in the bedroom because if she doesn't, then off she will go to find sex with somebody that...
This is a real thing?
I don't know. See,
it sounds fake. Like she's a sex zombie and it's instead of brains, it's doing it?
Yeah. Doing it.
I need sex.
And so she ends up having to figure something out. So they have concocted this like elaborate lock system that she can't figure out when she's sleeping. So apparently it's happened on more than one occasion where they were spending a night over at a friend's house and she made her way out and then apparently crawled into bed with the friends that were hosting. It was
Jesus
weird. Yes, but again, we are getting this from her POV. This is her telling the story. Right. So I don't know if, like, again, I've read the article several times. They don't name what disorder this is. I don't know if it has one, but she's just saying that her life has become difficult because she has to and craves sex the second she falls asleep. So, like, she'll snuggle up against her husband, and if her husband not there, she'll go out and try to find something. So there's this weird cable lock contraption on her door to make sure that that now is mobile, so if they stay over at like a hotel or something, that they don't end up, she doesn't end up doing something inappropriate. And so
is she unconscious when this is happening?
She says that like that's it. She doesn't remember anything.
Sleep humping.
Yes, she says she has had issues with sleepwalking in the past and feeling like she hasn't gotten really good sleep. And she says that's what's really kind of frustrating about this is she doesn't remember initiating nor the sexual encounters that she has. She doesn't know what happens or where it goes or why. She doesn't feel conscious during the act, but she knows because they've had cameras installed, Big J, that she's an active participant in whatever kind of things go along. And it clearly is consensual, but she does sleep talk. She sometimes falls out of bed. She also does sleepwalk from time to time. But then again, Big J, she also is a content creator and a OnlyFans model.
Garbage.
So maybe this is something that she wants to tell her
story. You should have led with that part.
I told you that there was no diagnosis
this is a
here.
Scam.
I don't know if it is.
This is just hot garbage.
I'd like to give her the benefit of the doubt, Big J. I try to be a trusting person.
Yeah, I'm an OnlyFans, and I can't sleep, and when I wake up, I got to do it.
She does say that her doctor has prescribed her sleeping medication, and that's what does help her sleep through the night. So she has gone over the last several months.
She get it from Hims?
To actually start in taking some Nitol and sleep medication that helps her sleep through the night. So she's sleeping better. But now, Big J, she's ready to share her story so that if other people suffer from the same thing she does, they can know that they're not alone. That sleep sex is a thing, and she has it. And it's something that's in her blood and in her mind, and she craves it the second she falls asleep.
Brains.
So there's that. No, I like you're doing it better.
Okay.
Doing it. Yeah, but apparently this is a thing. Again, there's no doctor quotes in here. There's no diagnosis. There's no naming of the condition. She just calls it a rare sexual and sleep condition that she has. And she's been diagnosed since 2021. So there's that. But you're calling BS?
Yeah.
Fine. I mean... that's fair. I feel like you have the right.
I was already suspicious, and then you bring up she's a content creator, and I'm like,
I know. But
what's the best way to create content? Make something up?
Sure, that's a thing, but it could be a real person trying to tell their story as well. You never know. It's not fair to jump to conclusions. You don't know this woman. But I do understand that yes, there could be a little bit of suspicion involved there. Morning After with Nick and Big J. There's your We're Going to Hell story. Guess what? We got to get somebody qualified for the X's Holiday Treasure. Your chance at almost $10,000, and your share of it is next on the X Rocks.
What can we give you this holiday season that you don't already have?
I don't know, hepatitis?
That you don't already have.
That was harsh.
Let's play the X's Carol Quiz to get you qualified for our holiday treasure on 100.3 The X Rocks.
Yeah! Let's do it. All right, here's the deal. We have the X's Holiday Treasure up for grabs. $10,000 will be given away on December 10th at Barbarian Brewing in Garden City. We'd sure like you to win your share of it. If you want to do that, you got to get qualified to join us at the big giveaway party happening there. To do so, you play our Carol quiz. Get on the phone, 208-287-1003. Big J is going to give you the title of 3 Christmas carols. Here's the catch. Only one of them's a real Christmas carol. The other 2 we completely made up. If you can correctly identify the real traditional Christmas carol out of the bunch, congratulations, you're officially qualified, and you're going to be joining us over there at Barbarian Brewing in Garden City, courtesy of the X and Dennis Dillon Auto Group and Mountain Health Co-op and CBH Homes as well. So there's a lot of people that make this possible because $10,000 is a lot of money, and we try to make it fairly easy to qualify as well, right, Big J?
And fun.
Yeah, that's part of it. We hope so, anyway. So if you want to play, get on the horn, 208-287-1003, and let's see if we can get somebody ready to go and in this whole thing called the X's Holiday Treasure. Hello, the X.
Hi, how's it going?
Good, man. What's your name?
My name is Jake.
All right, Jake, you're up first. Big J's going to read you 3 song titles. You've got to tell us what the actual Christmas carol is. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Here we go.
All right. Angel Chorus. Hark, the herald angels sing. Mark, your mom is here.
One of those is an actual Christmas carol, Jake. Which one?
I believe it was the second one, Hark the Herald Angels Sing.
That is correct.
Jake,
Ho, ho, ho.
you nailed it. What, you don't know the song Mark, Your Mom Is Here?
I have heard that one before.
Fair enough. Congratulations, Jake. You are officially invited to join us at our big giveaway party happening on December 10th at Barbarian Brewing in Garden City. Hold on tight. We'll get some details from you and make sure it's good to go.
Mark is wondering why his mom is at his friend's house.
Yeah. What's going on?
Yeah.
Mark, maybe she's picking him up. Maybe it was a sleepover. Congratulations, Jake. If you want to get qualified for the X's Holiday Treasure, tune in right around this time tomorrow. We'll give you another opportunity to do exactly that. Morning After with Nick and Big J. We got ourselves some important stuff as well as your Pop Culture Smackdown on the way on the X.
Globe in search of news. Important stuff.
Launch newsfeed.
On the Morning After with Nick and Big J.
Personal question for you, Big J.
Mm-hmm.
Are you CPR certified?
No.
Have you ever been?
No.
Do you want to be?
I mean, I thought I did. It's not too late.
It's never too late. 3 Days of Grace told us that several years ago. But what's stopping you if you want to be?
I don't know. Taking a class?
Learning.
Putting forth an effort?
Got it. No.
I mean, I'll just wait for them to tell me how to do it on the phone.
Is this your logic?
Yeah.
Okay. So you think if there was an emergency in which somebody else needed CPR, you would at least take the initiative to call 911 and have somebody coach you through the process?
I mean, I think I have the basic concept of it.
Okay. Explain it to me.
Chest compressions and mouth to mouth.
How about the amount that you need to do before each one?
When they wake up. Stop.
Fair enough. If somebody has an emergency, surprisingly enough, Big J, they do say that only 11% of the time are you around somebody that actually knows how to perform CPR correctly. And according to a study of 911 operators, the people that they usually give directions to over the phone don't do a very good job, Big J. So I think you may be leaning on that a little bit too hard. Also, a sad state of affairs of our current society, Big J. Only 22% of people say they would actually step up to perform CPR on somebody because they're afraid they do it wrong. Isn't that terrible?
Kids are afraid they do it wrong?
Well, they don't want to hurt somebody. They don't want to be responsible. They don't want to live with that if they don't become
I also wouldn't want to watch somebody die.
No. Whatever you're dealing with, there's trauma there. Yeah. There's no doubt about it. It's how you choose to live with yourself after that trauma and go, I could have done something, but I decided not to. And then we get in the dark.
Air tonight, over and over again.
Right. As you cry yourself to sleep, you realize I could have saved somebody's life, but I didn't do anything about it.
Right.
Of course, people recommend that you do become CPR certified in case of an emergency. Odds are you'll never have to use it, but knowing it is better than not knowing it. And they do suspect that if you were correctly trained in how to give CPR, it could be a very effective tool if somebody you're around has cardiac arrest or any kind of medical emergency that would require CPR. So something that you may want to think about, especially if you've been on the fence as to whether or not you should do it. maybe it's something. It really just takes us an afternoon, Big J, and then you get a little certificate.
Well, I'm
that says
glad
you're good to
you're
go.
certified.
I am certified and have been for a while. It is something that I take some pride in, but of course, that it started back in my college days, and it was just something to do, and then I continued that. It's not that hard to keep up with it, but it is something that could come in handy. I've never had to use it, not once, but it is something that could come in handy in case it has to, Big J. So think about it, won't you?
Okay.
Thank you. Hey, Ashton Jenty is up for the Maxwell Award. That is presented to the best college football player of the year. It's different from the Heisman Trophy. Last year, Michael Penix Jr. from Washington won this award. Of course, he did not win the Heisman Trophy. That went to Jaden Daniels, but it is still a very coveted award and something that is nice. Ashton Jenty was listed as one of the 16 semifinalists for this year's award. Most of them also Heisman Trophy candidates, so we'll see if he can bring this home. I think he's got it locked in for the Running Back of the Year award. I think it's Doak Walker, if I remember that correctly. And then we've got the Maxwell Award, and I still think he's got the inside track to the Heisman. We'll have to see how the season wraps up. You never know how this all comes together.
3 games left, I think.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Plus, you got the championship game if that all goes well, too. So there's that. Dallas Cowboys are among the NFL teams that are just having an awful season, and things got worse yesterday when Jerry Jones announced that Dak Prescott will undergo hamstring surgery today. He's going to miss the rest of the season. So looks like it's the Cooper Rush show, or Trent Lanson could be involved as well. Trey Lance, sorry. And he's so good I can't remember his first name, and so it's not a great thing for the Cowboys, and probably tanking your CeeDee Lamb year as well, and Ferguson year, and any other offensive player you may have for the Cowboys. You might want to jump off if that's part of your fantasy fund, because they just can't get him the ball, man. It's going to be a long year. Yeah. Now, here's my question.
It's already been a long year.
Yes. My question is, you have to fire Mike McCarthy, but does, once again, a quarterback injury save this man his job?
No way.
You don't think so?
No way.
I don't know. Again, I'm not a Mike McCarthy fan. I feel like he was never the right hire to begin with, and so far that's been proven right. But he's always been able to squeak by really terrible seasons because of some sort of catastrophic injury to an important player on his team.
They were sucking before the injury happened.
I agree.
So
I agree.
And terrible, too. I mean, I read that, that hamstring injury pulled pretty much off the bone.
Yeah, it wasn't
And that
good.
sounds awful.
Yeah, it doesn't sound fun. They kept showing that play where it clearly happened, and he was screaming when it happened, and they were like, it looked like the ball slipped out of his hands, but no, it was actually his hamstring tearing off of his body. Fun. Football's fun.
Yeah, man. Love it.
Denzel Washington will officially be in the third Black Panther movie. According to the actor, Ryan Coogler is writing an unspecified role for him in the sequel. Of course, he had a very close relationship with the original Black Panther, and of course, this was important for him to be a part of it. He was talking about this on the Today Show Australia, kind of doing the press for Gladiator 2, which is not getting very good reviews. But he does say that he wants to be part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, so he's going to do that. He is going to do another film version of Othello, and then he's going to do King Lear, which are a couple of Shakespeare plays, and then he's going to retire, Big J. So we got 3 more projects coming out of Denzel Washington before he hangs it up. And what a storied career. He certainly will have, one of the greatest actors to ever step foot on stage and or film, and he will be sorely missed because he is incredibly talented and elevates whatever project he's in. Even if it is a bad movie, he still makes it somewhat watchable, because there were a period there in the 90s where Denzel was just not a part of some good things, but he was always worth watching in a lot of ways. John Q comes to mind, where it was, I saw that movie in the theater and I was like, this is a bad movie. If Denzel Washington wasn't in it, it'd be unwatchable in every way. But he makes things watchable, dude.
Yep.
So I'm excited to see him in the third Black Panther movie. I wonder what role he's going to play there, but it should be very, very interesting. Have you lost interest in Gladiator 2, or are you still into it?
No, I'm going to check it out for sure.
Okay. Morning After with Nick and Big J. There's your important stuff. Your Pop Culture Smackdown next on the X.
Pop Culture Smackdown. On the Morning After with Nick and Big J.
And we got tickets for you for a show tonight at the Rev Center. Going to be a good one. Rise Against LS Dunes. We talked about how a few of those fellas in LS Dunes are also in My Chemical Romance. They announced their big stadium tour. Get a look at them first here tonight, and we'll get you these. You just got to beat me in Pop Culture Smackdown. Been very easy. I have the yips or something. I mean, I can have the right answer, and it won't matter.
Yeah, it's not great, but
don't say anything. Just
208-287-1003 is the number you need to call if you'd like to play Pop Culture Smackdown against Big J for these Rise Against tickets. The only other rub is you do have to pick these tickets up here at the radio station today before the show tonight, because that's where they are. If all that fits in your schedule and you want to make it to a concert tonight and have some fun, get on the horn and see if you can't take down Big J. Big J, are you ready?
Yep.
Hello, the X. Hello.
Hi.
Hi, what's up, man? What's your name?
Brandon.
All right, Brandon, you're up first. Brandon, this is a multiple choice question. Most of us have heard of or maybe even played Atari games, but what does Atari mean? Does it mean diamond, success, or king?
Go with success.
That is correct.
Right.
Atari means success.
Success.
Big J, in the Star Trek universe, what planet is Spock from?
Vulcan.
That is correct.
Right.
Yeah! Back to you, Brandon. What TV game show did Jeff Probst once host before he was the host of Survivor? Once again, multiple choices. Was it To Tell the Truth, Rock and Roll Jeopardy, or The Joker's Wild?
One more time.
What TV show did Jeff Probst once host before he became the host of Survivor? To Tell the Truth, Rock and Roll Jeopardy, or The Joker's Wild?
To Tell the Truth.
I am sorry, sir. That is incorrect.
Not
Thank you for
bad
playing.
for cheering.
Tell the truth?
It does feel like you kind of rubbed it in a little bit. Hello, the X.
Hello.
Hey, what TV game show did Jeff Probst once host before he became the host of Survivor? To Tell the Truth, Rock and Roll Jeopardy, or The Joker's Wild?
Joker's Wild.
No, I'm sorry. That was Wink Martindale.
Said it with authority.
He did. Yeah, I mean, sometimes that's what it takes. Sometimes you fool me, but not that time. Hello, the X.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, by process of elimination, we should have the right answer. We need to know what television game show did Jeff Probst once host before he was the host of Survivor? To Tell the Truth, Rock and Roll Jeopardy, or The Joker's Wild?
Oh, I didn't hear what the last guy just said.
The last guy said The Joker's Wild.
Okay.
Nice of you.
Yeah, I'm a nice guy.
Can I have one more time?
Yeah. To Tell the Truth, Rock and Roll Jeopardy, or The Joker's Wild?
To Tell the Truth.
No.
Wrong. Ah!
He's hurt.
Get him an ambulance.
CPR. Hello, the X.
Hello?
Hey. What television game show did Jeff Probst once host before he was the host of Survivor? To Tell the Truth, Rock and Roll Jeopardy, or The Joker's Wild?
Rock and Roll Jeopardy.
Right.
Nailed it. Good job, sir. What's your name?
Tim.
Tim, you're taking on Big J. Big J, what TV show takes place in Pawnee, Indiana?
Parks and Rec.
Right.
Nailed it. Back to you, Tim. What lucrative side gig does actor Idris Elba pursue when the cameras are off? Is he an esports professional? Is he a DJ, or does he design sneakers?
I have no idea who that is.
Sneakers. No. Sneakers. Wrong. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's going to be part of the question that's going to come real handy. You're going to have to know who Idris Elba is. Describe a role that people went know him from, Big J.
That's a great question.
Off to a great start.
Thanks for
Hello, the X.
Thanks for asking me that.
Hello.
Hey, do you know who Idris Elba is?
Who is?
Actor Idris Elba from The Wire. He was in Hobbs and Shaw, Fast and Furious.
I do not.
Star Trek Into Darkness. Great. Then take a stab at this. When he's not acting, what does he do? Is he an esports professional? Is he a DJ in clubs, or does he design sneakers?
He's a DJ in clubs.
Right.
Of course he is. You knew that.
Yeah, in the clubs even.
Good. A great job. Hang on. What's your name, sir?
Jason.
Jason, you're taking on Big J. Big J, how were the parents of the siblings on the TV show Party of Five killed?
They were in a terrible car accident.
Right.
That is correct. Back to you, sir. What movie won Clint Eastwood his first Oscar? Bird, The Bridges of Madison County, or Unforgiven?
Unforgiven.
That is correct. He won for Best Director. Big J, at what club does the Wimbledon tennis tournament take place?
Wembley?
Wembley?
Wembley, yeah.
No, that's a stadium.
Oh, okay.
Not a club.
Not a club.
That is incorrect. That means you are the victor. Congratulations, man. You got Rise Against tickets for tonight. Hang on just 1 second. We'll get some information from you. We were looking for the All England Lawn Tennis and Croquet Club. All England, I would have accepted.
Okay.
All England is really what it's known as. Morning After with Nick and Big J. There's your Pop Culture Smackdown. How's it feel, buddy? Right back on that horse.
Yeah.
We got your headlines. They're next on the X.
Here's traffic.
You are now a better person for knowing this. It's Headlines on the Morning After with Nick and Big J.
Headlines are as follows. That's no moon. Fun, I guess. And bad idea, bro.
Fun, I guess.
Hey, you know there are things like royal watchers that are really obsessed with the royal family over in England and pay an exorbitant amount of anything they touched and were a part of, right?
Yeah.
There is a 77-year-old slice of Queen Elizabeth II's wedding cake that recently sold for almost $3,000. Now, the slice was packaged in a box bearing the then princess's insignia and included a letter from the bride. This particular piece of cake was given to Marion Polson, who was a housekeeper at the vacation home of Queen Elizabeth in Scotland at the time. Queen Elizabeth's wedding to Prince Philip took place on November 20th, 1947. The original cake weighed 500 pounds.
Jeez.
And I know that people keep like slices of cake and stuff from their wedding and like enjoy it a year later, but how long does cake keep?
I don't know. I have no idea.
I know if you freeze it, it stays for a while, but that's not edible, right? 77 years? No way.
I would hope not.
That becomes a collectible.
I wouldn't want to try.
No, but maybe if you spend that much, you're like, I want to at least try the
No,
cake.
don't do it.
You get sick, you think?
No, God, yeah.
Cake recipes had to have changed since the 40s too, right?
I would think so, yeah.
They were probably a little bit blander back then.
Might be more healthy. Who knows?
You're probably right. But I'll pass on the 77-year-old cake thing.
Me too.
And the $3,000 it cost to get there. That's no moon or bad idea, bro.
Bad idea.
Hey, if you ever have a wild hair up your ass to go swimming from the Canada to the United States, don't do it. It usually doesn't end well, and a Florida man had to be rescued by a mailboat on Monday night after he attempted to do exactly that. Apparently, the crew on the J.W. Westcott II was notified that there was a man attempting to swim across the Detroit River from Windsor. And where they found the man, he was about halfway across the river, according to Captain Neil Schultheis. Unfortunately, the man was essentially in the beginning stages of hypothermia. He was very cold. He was disoriented. He didn't know where he was. At that point, he was essentially swimming for his life. And if that mailboat hadn't come along, he probably would have drowned and died. After the rescue, the boat was able to deliver its mail. So, hey, mission accomplished. But it was a bad idea. The guy just wanted to swim. He thought he could make it. He didn't think it would be that big of a deal. Maybe picking November wasn't the smartest place and time to do that. And so there are a lot of factors in why he wasn't going to probably make it across the Detroit River from Canada to the United States of America. He was, again, an American citizen. There was no reason for him to do this. He wasn't a fugitive or anything. And maybe he was just like, maybe he watched that movie you watched with Annette Bening. He's like, I can do this.
He wanted to accept the challenge.
Well, challenge failed. He was rescued by a mailboat. Don't do it. Wrap it up with That's No Moon. An alleged cigarette smuggler was caught trying to cross the Paraguay and Argentina border while disguising his merchandise in a floating plant. Officials report the suspect had been pushing about 200 packs of what is called rodeo king-size smokes under a mesh covered in leaves. The suspect allegedly swam in a wetsuit underneath the strange quote-unquote plant. Nobody had ever seen a plant like that floating so fast on top of the waterline, and so they're like, something's fishy about that. They took a closer look and found the smuggler underneath and all of his contraband as well. They nicknamed the smuggler Aquaman, and he was taken into custody. So the plan did not work, so all the cigarettes were confiscated. So bad idea. Maybe a good plan, just poor execution. You can't be screaming over the river. People are going to think that plant is cooking.
Yeah, it doesn't look right.
It does not look right. And it's a huge plant that's making that's going at quite a clip. I don't think something is on the up and up there, and sure enough, they were right. So I don't know. I don't have any smuggling tips for anybody, unfortunately.
That's probably good.
But I can say that was probably the wrong way to go about it. Hindsight's 20/20, of course, though, Big J.
Yeah.
Morning After with Nick and Big J. There are your headlines. You're officially up to date on everything. It is the X Rocks. Stone Temple Pilots. Bush on the Morning After with Nick and Big J. No other show talks to you about the upcoming robot apocalypse more than Big J and myself. And we have another chapter to add to that particular novel, Big J.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's necessarily part of the apocalypse or not. But
all right,
Dr. Roboto.
Wait. Are you confusing the Stick song Mr. Roboto with Dr. Roboto from Sonic?
That's the title. It's Dr. Roboto. Okay. And, the robots obviously have been a part of many industries and things at this point. And has taken jobs and maybe helped, production and things like that move a little bit better. But researchers at Johns Hopkins University and Stanford University have been training robots to perform complex surgical procedures. And they do this by just watching videos of real surgeries using a technique called imitation learning. So it's AI, so combining robots and AI. The robot is able to handle tasks like needle manipulation, tissue lifting, and suturing with precision of a seasoned surgeon.
I believe that. It's much like sewing machines can be better sewers than people from time to time. The only question I would have would be there are situations where complications arise in surgeries and people have to think on the fly. And if it's just doing parroting technology where it's just copying what it's already seen, what if something goes sideways? How does it react? You push the robot out of the way and then go in there and
get out of my way, robot.
You don't understand the protocol.
Yeah, I don't know, because there's not a lot of time when you've got an open artery or something like that. But at the same time, it eliminates maybe a doctor coming in drunk or high. Okay. Well, it happens, though, all the time, man.
I know, but if you start worrying about that stuff, you're never going to actually stop thinking about it.
Right, sure. But, anytime you can reduce maybe you just get a shaky hand. Did you go Doctor Strange all of a sudden?
Yeah, but on to that particular point, too, there's always could be a bug in a system. Something could go wrong. The batteries, somebody could trip over the plug. It could get unplugged. I mean, there's all sorts of stuff that could go into something going sideways in any surgical procedure. Yes, I do believe you have to have some sort of amount of trust in the people, the objects, the robots that are performing any kind of medical procedure, I think, in order to do it. But it's not the first, robot or kind of machine that's doing something. I mean, listen, MRIs do stuff the human eyes can't do. There's all sorts of things that already do things that humans can't do. This is just an extension of that. I guess the question would be, if given the option, would you have a robot give you surgery? Would you be down for that?
I would trust my surgeon or whoever is in charge of my medical workings to make that decision.
What if it was cheaper? It could save you like $2,000 out of pocket.
No. It's like surgeries. You're never going to pay off a surgery anyways, okay? I mean, don't worry about that.
Okay.
I would say if my doctor's like, it's okay if, Larry the robot does it. I'm like, okay.
Your doctor, my doctor, our doctor?
Sure.
Yeah, if he says
that.
Like,
he's got a robot for everything.
I mean, that's an inside joke with Big J about our doctor, but it is funny. Yeah. Maybe there could be a robot for everything, and you could end up actually having to have robot surgery. I don't think I would be against it either. It would depend on the surgery, I think, and it would depend on how long the robots have been doing it and the success rate of it. But I'd be okay with it.
How many malpractice suits are against this robot?
Yeah, can you sue a robot for malpractice? That's the other question.
You can sue the owner,
I suppose.
John Hopkins.
Johnny 5. Morning After with Nick and Big J.
Don't die.
There's no disassemble. There is your robot update. We got ourselves some bad impressions. Last chance as far as the show is concerned for Rise Against tickets next on the X.
Bad impressions.
So far, I'm not impressed.
On the Morning After with Nick and Big J.
Let's get you hooked up with some tickets for tonight's show at the Rev Center. Rise Against and LS Dunes. It's going to be a great show. And not many, a whole lot on the docket right now before the end of the year. So you want to get in? We'll get you there for free. Just figure out bad impressions this morning. Easy.
Last shot on the show. If you want tickets to Rise Against, 208-287-1003 is our phone number. Bad impressions works like this. Big J has 3 clues. Now, they all revolve around somebody pretty famous. Is that the route we're going today, Big J?
Yes.
And if you can figure out that person who is very famous in 3 clues or less, congratulations. It's you going to Rise Against and hopefully having a good time tonight. Let's go to the phones. Hello, the X.
Hey.
Hi, who's this?
This is Casey.
All right, Casey, you're up first. Good luck.
I'm one with Detroit, and Detroit is one with me.
Next.
8 Mile is pretty much my early biography.
Eminem.
There you go.
Nailed it. Congratulations. Rise Against tickets are yours. Hold on tight. We'll get some information from you. What was clue 3 for fun?
The Death of Slim Shady is my latest album.
And why is Marshall Mathers in the news?
He, and I didn't know this, Nick, maybe you knew this because you're a very smart person, that there's a Songwriters Hall of Fame.
I did know that.
And Eminem is among the 2025 nominees for possible induction, along with NWA, Janet Jackson, Alanis Morissette, Boy George, Bryan Adams, Steve Winwood, Sheryl Crow, George Clinton, Doobie Brothers, Tommy James, Mike Love, and more. It says and more.
God, how many people get in?
That's a great question. I don't know anything about the Songwriters Hall of Fame. I didn't even know about it until this morning.
Well, there's less of a pomp and circumstance around it, and then like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, of course.
But this makes more sense to me.
What?
Songwriters.
Oh, the people that actually
wrote the songs.
Sure.
There's not a lot of BS in there, so.
No, and it's nice to see some people. There's lots of people on that list that I would say probably deserve to be in there. I mean, Mike Love, the Beach Boys, has some of the greatest songs of all time.
Yeah.
Alanis Morissette's incredibly talented, deserves to be in there. Tommy James feels like he's probably been around for a while.
Right.
And this is like your 10th or 11th try. But yeah, I'd throw Eminem in there. I mean, he's an incredible lyricist. Agree or disagree?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So I hope he gets the nod. And we will see. Does it say anything about where the Songwriter Hall of Fame is located? Or where one could go if they wanted to check it out?
No.
Hell, it could be in Middleton for all you know.
Yeah, no, it's not, though.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's not.
Morning After with Nick and Big J.
Follow-up questions. Murdering me over here.
I mean, one would think you were interested in the topic.
I didn't even know
You're like,
about it.
Right.
I didn't bother to look it up.
So I thought maybe you would go, let me learn more about this thing that I didn't know existed. But no, you didn't. You just kind of stopped.
I thought you would teach me because you're such a teacher.
No, I knew that it was a thing, but I did not know where it is or why it exists or where it's located or can you tour it. Is it an actual museum you can go check out, or is it just like a list somewhere kept in the Library of Congress?
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's an actual place.
Morning After with Nick and Big J. We wrap up the show here next on the X Rocks. Latest from Scott Stapp, that is Black Butterfly, wrapping up the Morning After with Nick and Big J. Big J gave a approval, a big one at that, to Apocalypse Z, Beginning of the End. It is streaming on Prime. It was the movie he was tasked to watch for Streaming Dumbass, and he enjoyed it very much. In case you're looking for a decent thriller, Big J says check it out, and you can do so exactly whenever you want. Now, if you're a Prime subscriber, of course. We also had a chance to give away some Rise Against tickets today. That was fun. That show is tonight at the Rev Center. Have fun if you are going out to that. And, of course, Big J, we also talked about there's a possibility that people could be having sex in their sleep and not know it. Maybe they're even addicted to it, for crying out loud.
Sleep pumping.
And we learned that courtesy of We're Going to Hell. Big J, that leaves you with the floor.
Yeah, this is a bummer, but hopeful, and also a reason for you to make sure that you're up to date on all your medical stuff. Dave Coulier, comedian, of course, in Full House, and former muse for Alanis Morissette, is fighting cancer. He has stage 3 non-Hodgkin lymphoma. He's already been through a round of chemo, and he says he's doing pretty good. The good news is stage 3 means it hasn't gone to his other organs, and so he's got a 90% survivability rate.
Good, yeah. Early detection is the key for all that stuff. So get your yearly physicals, go to the doctor when something feels off, get yourself checked out. We know there's a pride attached to that, especially if you're a dude, but it's smart to go get yourself checked out if something feels sideways, or even if it's just a yearly physical, so that you can make sure everything is on the up and up.
He made a cheesy joke, Nick. He said, my joke is that in 4 short weeks, I've gone from a Virgo to a Cancer.
Dave Coulier, everybody. Next set of X-Rock brought to you by T-Mazda and the Pre-Owned Superstore. If you're looking for a new used vehicle, check out the website, gotmazda.com. The inventory is always getting updated, and there is a big blue I Pre-Check button there that could help you get into the next vehicle of your dreams without hurting your credit or even asking for your social security number. Check it out at gotmazda.com. That is it for us. Jason Drew's coming